Hey, this is Robert here at Goozy Fabrication. Now, for all of my DIY guys and gals out there, I've put together a list of 7 tricks that are really going to help you working on your projects at home. You've probably never seen these, so let me show them to you. Let's get into this. El numero uno, using a scraper to work body filler. With this trick, timing is everything. Okay, so when you mix up the body filler, it's starting to cure. You have to catch it at just the right time. And if you do, you can use a scraper or a tool like a scraper, and you can start shaving and start shaping your filler. That is going to save you a ton of time in sanding, materials. Hey, I don't have to keep replacing the scraper like I would body or sandpaper. Huge plus. And I'm not making dust, which is getting it blown or floating around in the air. If you master this, give it a few times, you'll get the hang of it. You'll figure out when exactly to catch the filler. It's going to make your life so much easier. It's going to make your job go much quicker. And you're going to have awesome results. Yeah, I mean, just look at how fast that's taking shape. Now, we're still going to have to sand that. But, I mean, hey, boom. We knock that down really quickly. And that'd be a really hard area to sand anyway, if you let the filler dry completely. And that's another tip. When you start sanding, catch it at just the right time. The sanding will be much easier also. I mean, that's taking shape really quickly. So we're going to put some 80 on there, go down progressively with the sandpaper, finer and finer. We don't want to leave big gouges and prime over that. That's not what you want to do. That will shrink and come back later. This is what we have. Hey, fast, easy, less materials. Try that trick out. You're going to like it. Scraper. So this is a really old-time bodyman trick you're going to love. Now, you can use this with any polyester body filler or fiberglass reinforced polyester body filler. And it's mainly to eliminate pinholes. And what you want to do is add a small amount of fiberglass resin. So I've taken out a little bit of body filler. You can see it's kind of has a rough texture, not moving very much, pretty stiff. Well, watch what happens when we add just a little bit of resin. Now, there's already fiberglass resin in body filler. It has no ill effects unless you add too much. And we'll go over that here in a minute. We want to get this really nice and mixed up. And I'll show you a difference right off the bat. Okay, you see the rough part unmixed and the creamy part that is mixed. And now just look at the consistency. Very, very different. Very easy to use. Spreadable. Pros: eliminates pinholes. Creamy mix. It'll soften old body filler that's been sitting in a can too long. Cons: if you put too much resin in, it's going to be runny, hard to sand, and it will stay tacky. So like I said, this is a really old bodyman trick, tried and true. Try it out. Now, whether I'm prepping metal or I'm grinding down welds, These are my go-to 24 grit, 3-inch Rolox discs. Man, they are very aggressive. They will make short work of prepping and grinding into metal. Very aggressive. Now here's a new one. I'm going to show you two different tricks on this. First is how to supercharge this thing, and then how to get twice the lifespan out of it. Okay, so I've got a new disc, a used disc, and then a really well-used disc. And you notice we have two different sizes of arbors. Now, once they get worn like this, I'll show you how to bring them back to life and turbocharge them, make them even more aggressive and even cut better than new. And the way you do that is you cut off the worn part and make a square. Now these edges, yeah, that will really be aggressive into metal. Now you have to use the smaller arbor. Can't put it on the big arbor. But because of that shape, man, turbocharged. Try that out. You will be amazed. And it's going to save you in material cost. Because usually the smaller ones just get thrown away or put up until they do get thrown away. And hey, we've got over 220 videos on YouTube now. If you like what we're doing, we're helping you out. Help us out. Support the channel, coffee.com/goozyfabrication. And for this next trick, using one simple tool, it's going to increase your body working 2 to 3 times faster than you could do it the traditional way. Okay, so I've set up a little demo here. Get a little bit of body filler on. Traditionally, well, you would let it dry, then sand it with a sandpaper. But instead, we're going to use a cheese grater. That's what this is called. Body rasp, wood rasp. Pick your poison there. There's a trick to this. Timing. Timing's everything. That is not cured enough. Now we're almost at the right spot. It's a little tacky. Let me show you what happens if you're a little early. See how it's kind of balling up when I start to grate this body filler? Well, it's not quite ready yet. It's almost ready. A few more minutes. It'll ball up on the rasp. We need to clean that off before it hardens. Wire brush it. You're good to go. Now, when it is right, or when you're in your window of cure, this is what it looks like. It looks like you're literally grating cheese. Man, you can really shape this and just increase the speed at which you're doing the body work like none other. And then you come back, finish it off with a long block or orbital, whatever you're using. Poof, you're done. 2 to 3 times faster. This is a tip. Okay, you always have body filler dust if you're working body filler. Don't do this. Blow that stuff everywhere in the shop, in your eyes, in the atmosphere, in your lungs, all over everything. Just take a shop brush, wipe it off the vehicle if you can, put a trash can underneath. It'll all fall in a predictable spot right on the floor instead of having it up in the air. And you should be wearing a respirator and eye protection anyway, and also latex gloves. And now let's say you have to put one more coat of filler over this. 2 coats is usually normal. What I'm doing here is I'm using a pencil, not a marker, not a pen, a pencil. Laying out a grid line or a grid pattern. So when we put our light coat of body filler on next as our final coat, we start sanding. Well, that is going to start to show through. Now, a lead pencil will not impact or have any negative effects on the filler at all, paint, anything. But once we start sanding, we'll start seeing those. And when we do, we can gauge our depth. Sometimes you're going to run into situations where it's very difficult to get a good ground. Well, I've got a welder's trick that's really going to help you out. maybe working on a fiberglass car or a Corvette, something like that. Whatever the situation is, this is the trick for you. We're going to make a tool. And if you're welding on your project, well, you're probably using a MIG welder. You got voltage, and then you set your wire feed speed. Now, if you lose ground and interrupt that circuit, the wire's still pushing out. That's going to jack your weld up, make it a real bad time for you. So we're going to finish off this little tool. This is just an old cable, copper cable. We want to save the copper anyway, these days especially. We're going to use our little drill here. And we want to tighten that thing up, because we're just going to put this in our toolbox and keep it from now on. And there we go. Tool made. And this is how you use it. Well, any irregular shape, square, rectangular, it doesn't matter. That will conform. Twist it really nice and tightly by hand. Then we use some vice grips. Now we have a very positive ground. And that'll get you out of a lot of situations where that's an issue. And then when we're done, well, it's very reusable. We just keep it wound up as tightly as possible, put it in the toolbox. Okay, this comes out of the collision industry. You probably don't have this tool, but let's say you bought a 7881 Camaro or Trans Am. I'm using that because they are notorious for the door sagging. And I call this the wonder tool, or that's what I did call it in when I was doing a lot of collision. Now, if your door sagging, the door hinges or door pin is worn, you have to replace all that if it's too bad. If it's not too bad, you can use this tool. There's a shot of the door hinges. You would have to take the door off, rebuild all of that. And if it's not too bad, that end goes on the striker. This end slides right into the door latch and latches. Now you have leverage. And you can move this door up or down and adjust it. And of course, you'll have to adjust your striker later also. But man, that always amazed people, because I can adjust their door in 2 minutes. There you go. Coffee.com/Guzzi Fabrication. Hit that like, subscribe. Thank you to all of our followers, supporters, and as always, thank you for watching.